Hey everyone. I am hoping that our tech person, that is me, Dr. Tara, got our technical difficulties from last week done. And so, um, welcome to Dr. Tara Tuesdays. I am Dr. Tara, and you should be seeing this video broadcast on Facebook Live and also our Dr. Tara YouTube channel. And so if you can see me if you can hear me, if you could just let me know in the comments. I want to make sure that I am seeing and responding to everyone. Going to give us a couple minutes to let people come on. If you're just tuning in, welcome to a special, very, very special Dr. Tara Tuesdays. I will be joined by my lovely daughter, Lola, and we're going to be talking about our experience as a family and really giving her a platform to share her experience um, as it relates to being with or experiencing cancer from the perspective of a child, experiencing parental cancer from the perspective of a child. Welcome to those of you who are on. I see some of you are on here. We'll be getting started in just a moment. If you can hear me, if you can let me know in the comments. Hey everyone, good evening. Welcoming you as you come on. We'll be getting started in just a moment with our special guest. Before we even bring Lola on, I just want to give a little background of why it was so important, why it is so important for me to, hey Lana, thank you, glad you can hear me. Why it was so important for me to include my children as a part of my sharing process. And really the answer is very, very simple. It's because they didn't have a choice as to whether or not they were going to participate in this process, in the journey. And it's one thing to talk about, oh, this is what I did as a parent, or this is what I would recommend other people to do. But I have two experts in my own home, my daughter and my son. And I feel like they can give much better feedback and guidance to parents, to me, to other children about what their experience was and currently is, as we are moving from actively in cancer treatment to being into survivorship. And so I'm going to bring Lola to the stage. Hi, Lola.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. You look beautiful.
Thank you. So did you?
Thank you. So, we are here with you this evening because it was important for me to have you share your journey and to share your story. And I didn't want to tell it for you. I think you have a beautiful, powerful, and strong voice. And so, I wanted to invite you to be a part of this process. And when I asked you, you immediately said yes. So, before I go into all of that about your experience, can you share with the Dr. Tara community who you are, something fun and wonderful about you, and maybe something that has made you smile within the past 24 hours?
Hi, my name is Lola Mundell. I'm an eighth grader. I go to school called Jimmacy. Um, that's my mom and my daughter, I guess. Um, Something that's made me smile in the past 24 hours. I mean, I was just on the phone with my friends, so that was fun. So yeah.
Awesome. So, for those of you who are new to the Dr. Tara community, this is the second conversation in a three-part series where we are talking about my journey with cancer. And it was so important, again, for me to talk about the parenting aspect of it because parenting is such an important part of my identity. It's such an important part of what I do and who I am. And actually having this conversation with my children, telling my children that I had been diagnosed with cancer has probably been one of the hardest conversations I have ever had in my life. And it was about a year ago today. So I am a proud Morgan State alum. Morgan State homecoming weekend was actually the weekend that I shared it with my children. So we just had it again. And so, the body remembers, and I'm remembering conversations with them. I'm remembering conversations with my friends, preparing me to tell them. And so, Lola, I just wanted to talk to you about, one, why was it important, or why is it important for you to be a part of this conversation? Why is it important to you for you to have the opportunity to share your experience?
I think it's important because different kids are all experiencing different things while like their parents can be having cancer, so they might be feeling a different way than how the parents feeling, because the parent might not know how the child is feeling themselves about the situation, because the parent is mostly focused on themselves, trying to get themselves better. But as a child, all they're thinking about is their parent, and like, oh no, what's gonna happen for the future, is it gonna continue, and what's going on. So I think it's important for me to share my experience, to let people know that like it's okay to feel that way.
Hmm. So I think that's a great way to start. So if you could walk us through what your experience was like. I mean, how did you feel? How did you feel when I shared this with you? How did you decide how you were going to show up for one yourself, for me, and then also as a student? You mentioned that you were a student. So start us off. Miss Lana says, great to see you.
Thank you. Um, the experience was it was different, I would say. It's like for you, I don't think it was nothing as like serious, if you know what I mean. Like it's not like how like some parents are like in the hospital every day.
Mhm.
I feel like it was like a more like normal and easy thing for you. So from me, just saying from my perspective, is saying like it was very scary in the beginning, and uh it kind of got worse at one point where I was very scared. I used to cry by myself because I'm not really a person who talks about their feelings. And so like I just I feel like I just had to be like I like it's not like I felt like I had to be by myself. It's more like I needed to be by myself because like I feel like it would be better for me. I feel like it felt better to me to be by myself because it's harder to being with somebody else, because it's hard to get your like as a person who like it's hard to like say my feelings. It's better for me to like usually like say it to myself
Mm.
than talk to somebody about it. So like I rather would be by myself than like talk to somebody and get misunderstood.
That is one of the things that you and I thank you for your honesty. One of the things, and if y'all can imagine, right? Lola's mom, PhD in psychology, and I got a baby who she keeps things in. I have a son who was a little bit more forthcoming with his emotions, but I knew this experience was going to impact Lola in a way, and my fear was that she was going to go inward. And I don't know if any other parents can relate to that, or if any other kids can relate to that. Like when they are faced with something that's big, they go in. And Lola is she's such a loving spirit and such a kind spirit, and she ever since she's been about one or two, I've called her the grandma, right? Like she's the one who rallies the family together. She gets us all together. She keeps us all in line. And she immediately went into caretaker mode. I remember when I would have bad days, I would see, Lola, she's checking in on me before she went to school. I remember one time I had a really rough weekend because my chemo would be on Fridays. And so typically I would have Friday evening and maybe Saturday morning to like eat as much as I could, take a bath, take a shower, get myself ready to bunker down for the storm that was coming. And and when I got into the harder chemo, um, Lola's dad and I co-parent, and I tried to make sure that she was away on those weekends because it was so rough. And I remember having an especially rough weekend that turned into the weekend I came out of my bathroom and Lola had set up, like, I don't know if you remember, like a self-care station. Like, she had my Bible out on the floor. She had um, a basin for me to soak my feet. She wrote me a little affirmation that said, "Don't doubt yourself." She had my slippers out, and I was too weak to even engage in it. But it was a reminder that she saw me, and at the same time that she automatically went into caretaker mode and caregiver mode. And so one of the things that was really, really important to me was that she was still able to be a child. Hey, Aunt Val. That she was still able to be a child. And so with Lola's school, she was still in sports. I didn't take her out of anything. I had another parent who just became Lola's second mom. She was taking her to and from school almost every day. I would try to take her to or from school on the days where I felt strong enough, which was not a lot. And and she would, videotape her at her games so I wouldn't miss anything. Hey, Tasha, she said, Lola is so amazing. Her heart is so pure. She really is. And so it was very important for me that she still went to stuff. She still had her activities, that she wasn't home with mom, because she is a child who naturally is a giver. And she's also a child who naturally goes inward. And so it was very, very hard when I would check in with her, how are you feeling? Or when my appearance was changing, I posted some pictures online earlier, like I got shook at some of them, like, whoa, but as my appearance was changing, she made sure, like, oh, you look great, or you can do this, or no, everything is fine. And I wanted to make sure that, one, she had an outlet, and then two, that I also didn't force her to talk to anyone until she was ready. She did activities like, Lola's an artist, so she would draw a lot in her journal. On the days where I felt up to it, we would color together. And I remember you telling me one time, like, that was helpful for you to kind of get some of the thoughts and the feelings out that you couldn't say. Would you agree with that, Lola?
Yes.
Hmm. What else did you do to kind of help you process your emotions in those days where you just wanted to be by yourself, wanted to be alone?
Mm, I don't think I really did anything. I kind of just like, I think I was on like social media a lot. I think.
Me
See
too.
my.
I told y'all last week everybody was raising themselves, so just cross our fingers. We just hope for that. Go ahead.
It's like, I feel like I wasn't really like confronting the moment, the emotions. I feel like I would like suppress the emotions,
Mm-hmm.
like try to distract myself from the way I was feeling. I would usually be on the phone with my friends a lot or
Mm-hmm.
playing like Roblox or something.
Mm-hmm. How are your friends? How did your friends show up for you? I know. So when I shared this with Lola, um, the weekend I shared with Lola my diagnosis, I immediately reached out to all the administrators at her school. Um, and ask them to handle her with care, right? That's something that we know in the emotional wellness space. When a child is going through something that is traumatic or that is life changing, we ask for them to be handled with care. And her school was wonderful. She identified a safe adult within her school, and that was the nurse. And the nurse would check in with you often, and just gave her space to cry or to leave if she needed to. We know that emotions don't work in this kind of checkbox pattern, right? So she could start off having a good morning, and I'll get a note like, hey, Lola needed to step out of class. But how are your friends? And so you decided some of your friends were that you could trust with this. How did your friends show up for you during this time?
I feel like I became really, really more like close with them during the time because I had like more stuff to talk about. Like I didn't really talk about it that much. I don't think, but like I don't. It's like they helped me, but like they didn't know they were helping me. It
Mhm.
was like because I didn't talk about it really. The only time I've ever talked about like you having cancer was probably like when the ambulance came, and that's when they were like kind of there for me. But
Mhm.
like they were still there for me no matter what. It was like, but they were more like kind of distracting me, if you know what I
Mhm.
mean.
Mhm. They allowed you to be a student. They let you not have to focus on like taking care of mom. I remember one of your friends said that she was going to be your emotional, you don't have to say her name, but she was going to be your emotional support person. Do you remember that?
Yes,
And yeah,
yes.
and when I came in, she let me know, right, that Lola was fine, that she was going to be her emotional support person. Um, there was a particular event that Lola is talking about where I got very sick, and we called the, you know, on call oncologist, and they instructed us to call 911, and Lola had to make that call. And that was very, very scary for her. And after she made that call, and we'll talk about this too, she immediately called her godmother and asked her to pray with her. And they prayed together, and I could hear them because Lola went out of my room, and she prayed with Lola, and then Lola immediately called her friends and shared with them that, you know, she was having a rough time, and they were immediately there for her. And so one of the things that I think it's important, um, as a parent, that was important for me as a parent to do, was allow Lola to create her sense of community, and what that looked like for her. And so Lola, we know that you are in your Bible. You have a streak going on with Bible, the Bible app. How did like your faith, how did like prayer help you through this process, or having people that would pray with you and love you too?
I think when you first got cancer, you said they were going to start doing scripture every morning. And so
Hmm.
I feel like that also boosted up my faith in God, like a lot. Because I eventually downloaded an app so I could do scripture on my phone daily, every day. And so, yeah. And
Hmm.
then sometimes when I was like home alone, I would do like Bible studies by myself.
Hmm. Yeah,
Just fun.
and no one to call people to, right, that they could pray with you. I know one of the challenges, so let's get into that. So I know we talked about like some of the benefits. I know one of the challenges that you shared with me was as a child, um, with your mom having cancer, when people would check in with you, it was like a reassurance, like, hey, make sure you're checking in with your mom, or make sure you're helping your mom. And you said sometimes you felt frustrated with that because it felt like no one was really asking you like how you were doing, right? And you also needed support, right? So like you automatically were going to be a help for me, but you wish people had asked. Lola, is there anything that you need? Do you want to talk a little bit
Yes.
about that?
Um, I mean, you kind of said everything.
Mhm.
It was like that, like, it was just like one person who would like make sure you check on your mom a lot. Like make sure like she's getting like her water, her food and stuff. Like it was like I want to help you. Like I wanted to help you out a lot. Like no matter what. It was just like I also have emotions. Like I also was like feeling things. Like I was like scared, like that you were gonna die or something.
And so you wish people had asked you. What do you think people, so if you're listening, right? So if people who have the best intentions, right, what would you say to them about checking in with kids? Like what would you have wanted someone to say to you?
I feel like I would like at least like I don't really want to talk. I don't like talking about my feelings a lot. I
Mhm.
rather you just sit there while I cry, like or
Mhm.
something like that. Cause it's just like easier. Cause I'd rather not like having to keep explaining you still not to get it from me than me just like you just sitting there and just like that would be that I feel like if someone would have done that, then instead of like just kept asking me like, "What's wrong, Lola? What's wrong?"
Mhm.
Explain it. I feel like that would have helped me a lot better than someone keep repeating the same question to me over and over again. Because especially as me, like as a person who doesn't really like explain their feelings a lot, not like necessarily it's hard, but it's like frustrating sometimes because you don't know like the right words or
Mhm.
like people misunderstand you sometimes. It's just like I'd rather not say anything if instead of like me having to keep explaining my feelings over and over again. So I wish somebody would have like know like feel like because I feel like I showed signs that I was sad, but I wish like someone could have like noticed it and then like say like Lola like sit with me for a second like let's do this instead of like kept asking me what's wrong like Lola tell me your feelings like what's wrong like I don't really like that.
Mhm. So what I'm hearing you say is sometimes we just need people to hold space for us, right? And then the
Yes.
feelings come, right? Like we don't want to force them out, but they'll come, and that comes in safe spaces. Thank you for that. What would you say to other kids who may also feel like you, where it's hard for them to express their feelings, where they feel like they don't have the words, where they feel like they may be misunderstood? As far as like, how do you or how can they advocate for themselves? Like, I need this space too. What advice would you give them?
Can you repeat the question? I'm
Mhm.
not really understanding.
So for other children who may also relate to that, like having difficulty expressing their emotions, what advice would you give them? Because they're still there, right? Even if
Yeah.
you don't express them, what advice would you give them for asking people to create a safe space where their emotions are able to just come out versus being forced out?
I would say, like, if you're like feeling sad or something, I would say, like, don't cry by yourself because that kind of just makes it worse.
Hmm.
Instead of like, to like just go to like, I don't know, like a trusted adult and just like ask. Like, it might be hard to ask, like, just like once you do it, it feels nice. Like, ask, can you just sit with me? I don't want to talk about my feelings. I just want you to sit with me. No, you don't even have to say it like that long. You just like ask, can you just sit with me? Feel like that would be good for them.
Hmm.
I mean, it
That
would
would
be
be good
good
for
for
some
me. Yeah.
adults too. That would be good for some adults too. I'm gonna note that too. Like, yeah, can you just sit with me? I think that's such a beautiful question and such a beautiful practice. One of the things too that I want to talk about was after I began to get better. So just kind of giving everybody a synopsis. So, very, very sick, ended up having surgery and thankfully healing. My surgery showed no signs of any remaining cancer cells in my body. And but I was still sick, right? So the chemo stays in your body 6 months to a year after your last dose. My last dosage of chemo was in March. So my body is still processing the chemo, and I was slowly rebuilding my strength. And so one of the things that was very, very important to me was spending time with Lola. Lola and I are like this, right? She is my right hand. I'm going right, she's going right. And during chemo, we were not able to be physically close. For example, because chemo is toxic to the body, you are not allowed to share bathrooms with anyone. And originally, people think it's because the person receiving the treatment can get sick, but it's actually because the chemicals that your body is really working overtime to get out of you can be toxic to your family members. So they advise against sharing a bathroom with anyone, sharing a bed with anyone, especially because one of the things I talked about, like your body is trying to push the medication out of it. So you're sweating. And so, you don't want someone else to get all of that from you. So, and then your immune system is down. One of the drugs that I was on, AC or the Red Devil that I talked about last week, literally wipes out your entire white blood cells. And so you have to get an injection within 24 hours of receiving it to force your body to create or produce white blood cells. And so Lola, who is usually a very affectionate, very huggy child, she was scared to be around me. I would wear a mask everywhere I went out when I did go out. And so one of the things that cancer caused was this disruption in our like physical closeness and physical proximity with each other. And that was very, very hard for both of us. All right. Like she would talk to me. She would literally be scared to come into my room. She would talk to me from her door, from the doorway, because if she was at school and someone was sick, she did not want to chance me getting sick. And so once I began to heal, I booked a trip for us to go away. Mainly just her and I. I had two wonderful girlfriends come down while we were away, which we'll talk about in our last part of our series. And then my son was able to come down from his internship for a weekend, but mostly it was her and I. And I remember sharing with Lola that I booked this trip. Do you remember that, Lola? Like, I have a surprise for you, and we're going away. And literally 2 days later, every emotion that Lola said she did not like sharing literally began to come out. You would be crying a lot. I remember one time you were like, I just can't, I don't know what's going on with me. I can't stop crying. And I knew as a mom, like I had introduced Lola to a therapist that I trust, a trusted family therapist who has an expertise in working with children very early on in our journey. And she was like, Lola is handling this so well. She's still able to be a student. She's still showing up. She's not showing any signs of distress. Like she's able to process and say what's going on. And then it went on maybe for about 2 weeks where Lola, you would become very emotional, very tearful. Um, and I knew that I needed support as a parent because I was still healing. And we got a wonderful therapist. Her name is Michelle, and she began to work with you. And I remember one of the things that she told me that I ended up sharing with you is like, Lola can finally release because Lola finally feels safe, right? She finally feels safe enough to know that her mom is okay. And for you, that was me being strong enough to like book this trip. Um, so understanding all of that, like what was it like for you, Lola? And you don't have to go into specific details, but what was it like for you to finally have an outlet where you could let out those emotions that you had kind of been holding on to?
It was kind of confusing because everything just happened so fast. It was like boom, 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 for like for like 2 weeks. It was confusing. Like my mind couldn't like catch up with my body, like what my
Mhm,
body was feeling. Like my mind was still like stuck. Like it was like left in the past. Like my mind couldn't catch up on what like my body was feeling. But my body was already here, like in present time.
mhm,
But my mind wasn't. It was like somewhere else. It was
mhm,
like, wait, already? We're like, you're ready to release? It was like weird. It was confusing because like my body wanted to cry, but like I didn't want to cry.
mhm,
But my mind was like, no, I don't want to do this. I don't, not right now. But my body was like, yes, I'm ready. Like, so it was all very confusing. But like it felt nice sometimes,
mhm,
but it was like overwhelming sometimes. So it was just like a mess sometimes. So yes.
mhm. Are you okay with me asking you a question about it?
Hmm.
So I think you summed it up so well, right? Like your mind is like, girl, what is going on? And your body is like, finally. Um, and there's this book and there's this practice that we talk about. Like the body knows, right? The body is going to push for release when it's ready. And I think even though your mind was saying, Lola, what is going on, you allowed it to happen. Like you came to me, you were open to meeting with Miss Michelle, who was a therapist. And I want to honor what Ms. Lana said, like what strength you had to listen to your body, Lola, right? Because sometimes even as adults, our bodies give us cues and our mind is like, nope, we're not doing it. Nope, we're not doing it. We got to keep going. We got to keep going. And you were strong enough to allow allow your body the space to release because it was holding all of this stuff for over a year, right? And so what were some of the things that was helpful in your journey to release and in your working with Miss Michelle? Like and I remember like me listening, not to your sessions, but like hearing you cry, and like it would break my heart, but at the same time I knew that it was what you needed, right, for your own healing process and your journey. What did you take from that experience, or what was beneficial for you?
Um, can you repeat your question? I'm
What was
sorry. It was like
beneficial?
a
Like,
lot
what
of
did you? Yeah,
words.
I know. What was helpful about working with Miss Michelle?
Oh, it was just like it was different. I've never had a therapist. It kind of like made me go outside my comfort zone because I'm not usually like talking to people about my feelings and like like not like saying I had to, but like I kind of had to talk about my feelings because she's a therapist. And so it felt weird for a second. Like when we first started, it's like I don't really need a therapist right now. I feel fine. Like
Mm-hmm.
I feel really fine. Like but then like my body was like, whoa, I need to cry real quick. And so then that's when like we started talking about like being sad, I guess. So it was like it was good. It was nice meeting her.
Mm-hmm.
She was helpful sometimes. Yeah.
I know one of the things too that you all talked about that you shared, not just about you being sad, but also about how brave you were in owning that too. Do you feel like you were brave, that you are brave? Were you able to receive that?
Yes, I feel like sometimes that I was brave, cause um it was I feel like sometimes I was brave, not really though. Like I feel like I was brave enough to like have a therapist,
Mm-hmm.
but I really wasn't brave enough to talk about my feelings.
But you still did. And you were still, like, when you were ready, you did.
Yes,
And you're doing it now in front of all of these people because you still see the importance in it too. Mhm.
yes.
What would you say to anybody, like to a young person that, has all these emotions? Their body may be giving them cues, right, that it's ready to release. They may need to cry, they may need to yell or whatever, right? But their mind is telling them, no, don't do that. What would you say to them?
Just do it.
Mm-hmm.
It was like it's like a workout. It's
Mm,
like when you're running on the treadmill trying to get that mile in, but like it hurts so bad. But like you get that good satisfaction that it's over with.
mm-hmm,
Like it's done.
mm-hmm. And then you can move on, right? Like our
Yes.
emotions are like waves. Like that ride in the wave is tough, right? You can be caught up in it, but then you're able to move on.
Yes.
Hmm. So now that we are here, um, and we are prayerfully and hopefully forever on this other side. Um, where are you emotionally? What are your hopes and your dreams for yourself or our family? How do you keep yourself in the present moment? How do you find joy?
Um, I find joy in like being with my friends, listening to music.
Mm-hmm.
I like listening to music. Um, I find joy in sports a lot. I play volleyball. It's really fun.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I I feel fine. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily like happy, like or sad. I just feel like yeah.
I mean, I'm good. I know one of the things that has been a process for me, and I'll say this with both you and with Donald, my son, has been you all have become such great people who check in, right, with me. Like, Mom, you okay? Mom, what's going on? Lola, we lost you, boo. I don't know where you went. Um, Mom,
Sorry,
it's okay. Mom,
something
you okay?
happened.
Okay. I'm gonna take you off and then come right back in. Okay. Um, but constantly asking me, Mom, are you okay? Like checking in. When I was going through chemo, my son would literally be scared to leave me. And so he would just check in with me almost like every hour, every 2 hours. And so anytime, so I'm still in recovery, right? So my body doesn't move. He needs a lot more rest to recover in my recovery process. And so sometimes even as I'm laying down, they will both still very much check in with me. Mom, are you okay? Mom, you feel okay? Mom, you feel okay? And one of the things as a parent that I have been trying to make sure that I do, hey, one of the things as a parent that I've been trying to make sure that I do is let them know that that it's okay, right? That they don't need to get heightened anxiety when they see me laying down when I come home and like, you know what, guys, I'm tired. And so I promised myself, even before my cancer diagnosis, that I was going to have a household that was rooted and grounded in love, but also in honesty and transparency. And so Lola and her brother have seen me cry several times, right? I cried when I told them about my diagnosis. I cried throughout treatment. I cried tears of joy when I think about how far we as a family have come. I was very, very honest about allowing them to see that they had a human being as a mother, right? Like, I do not subscribe to the notion that um, my children are not going to see me experience the full gamut of emotion, because I believe, and I know this just, just in doing parenting work, I know that as parents, we give our children permission to feel and express emotions based on our willingness to feel and express certain emotions too. And so I wanted them to see me hopeful. I wanted them to see me scared. Not necessarily want, but I allowed them to see those things. And so one of the things that I have been working on during this process, or during this part of our recovery process, has been, allowing them to release some of their, mom, are you okay? Mom, are you okay? We're going to check in. Mom needs this, mom needs that. Like, mom is okay. And we're all, as a family, trying to find our footing and our new normal. And they have been so helpful and um, purposeful in helping me do that. And so, Lola, before we get ready to wrap up, is there anything that you want to add, or anything that you learned about yourself? I'll ask you that. What have you learned about yourself during this process?
I learned that like it's okay like to say like it's okay to ask like for what you need.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's okay like not to always be a people pleaser. Like I don't always have to be like, "Oh, do you know about this?" or like, "Oh, I have this. I got you for that." Like it's okay like if I need a moment or something.
Mm-hmm.
Or if like, "Oh no, can you do it instead?" Or like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you have become really, really good at saying, like, when stuff is too much, right? Like, instead of saying like, "Oh, I'll do this," or you come and gather the family, you will say to us, "Hey guys, I'm overstimulated. I need a break. I need to be by myself and gather myself." And I think what we have gone through is a lot, right? Creates a lot of stimulation. Like, it's a lot of stimulation to see, to hear, to witness, to experience. And you have become really, really good at guarding. Well, one, acknowledging your body, right? I think when you had your release, you were able to acknowledge, like, this is what my body needs, and give that to yourself. So, anything
Yes.
else that you would like to say to our community before we sign off? I want to honor this comment, that you've become more comfortable with asking for help and for what you need is amazing. Ms. Lana said that will serve you well in years to come. I agree
Thank you.
1,000 times. I agree 1,000 times. How are you? One last question. How are you um, finding joy in being a kid again, right? Like, not having to be the caregiver, but just getting
I'm
to
like
be a 13-year-old.
I'm like slowly becoming into a teenager, I guess. So like I'm like with my friends out more and now like I'm finding joy in different things.
Mm-hmm.
Like experience new things, like new opportunities. Um feeling new like emotions, I think. Um trying different things. So yeah,
Okay.
thanks.
You are. And anything else that you want to say before we close out to either parents or children, or caregivers, like, or the village, anything about taking children's feelings and emotions and their experience into consideration when we talk about children going through the process with their family?
I would say to like the caregivers or like parents, like if your child seems like they're upset or like they're in a bad mood, like I feel like it's not always, it shouldn't be always saying are you okay or like let's talk about it, let's talk about it with me. It shouldn't always be like your first move. I feel like you should like first like sit with me or like do something like, oh, let's watch a movie, and then like let them kind of like come to you on their own. And if they don't, it's okay if they don't either, because like they need to, like sometimes they want to do it on their own, and
Mhm.
that's, I think that should be okay for them.
Mhm. I love that. I love that, Lola. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for joining us. I didn't think I was going to make it through this without crying. Just because, I love you and I learn from you every day. And I am a mom, and I don't know if anybody else is like that. I am a mom, like, oh, wait, I see your face has changed. I see your body language has changed. What's going on? Tell me what's up. And that is something that I learned from you too, to allow you space. Um, and really to trust that you'll come to me right when the time is right, like you did, when those emotions got really really heavy and really really strong. And so I just want to thank you so much for being with me this evening. I know you could be anywhere in the TikTok space, but you're here with your mom, and so I love you and I appreciate you, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Mommy.
And Nikki, thank you for joining us. And thank you, Lana, for your comment. You'll close us out. We will not be together next Tuesday. Oh, Auntie Zai is on. Hey, Anita. Nikki,
Thank
everybody.
you.
um, but everyone, thank you all so much for giving my baby a space to share her story, a space to share her truth. And I think that as parents, we learn so much from our children. Lola continues to teach me. Like I said, I'm a parent that's like, we can talk about it. And she is a child that, no, we can't. I'm like, I like to manage these emotions within myself first, and so for me, this process has just kind of reaffirmed my commitment to the space is always going to be here. Aunties, I said your braids are fabulous, love.
Thank you.
And so this space is always going to be here, and this is always going to be a safe space for her. And one of the things that I would tell her is that I am here, and whenever you are ready, I am still going to be here. And I know that, in the times where it felt like I'm like, she's acting a little too normal, she's acting a little too such and such, still trusting that, like she said, when her body was ready, she was going to be able to come to me, and I had resources ready, right? And I think that was one of my lessons during this journey, right? Like she may not need it or utilize it at this moment, but have it on standby, because as a parent, she is going to need that. And just honoring, I know Auntie's eyes on here, but just honoring the aunties of Lola who stood in. I know a couple of days were tough, and I just said, you know what, Lola, you can stay home. And I text the auntie group, like, hey, who can come be with Lola today? She's having a rough day. And you trusted members of within our village too, that you felt comfortable in sharing that too. So I just want to shout them out as well. So everyone, we will not meet next week. We will come back with our third and final conversation in this 3-part series, talking about give the village the importance of caregivers. And that is also going to be a powerful, powerful, powerful conversation. So Lola, thank you so much. Thank you all so much
Thank
for
you.
tuning in. As always, let's heal together. And I would just be remiss if I did not acknowledge the life and legacy of D'Angelo. Cancer deaths are very, very hard for me. I shared with you all last week, it feels like this thing that you escape, but then it's, kind of lurking around. And so I just want to honor his life and his legacy and send so much comfort and prayers and support for his family and everyone else who has been touched by this disease in any way, and the children. So just honoring that and ending with that. And so thank you all so much. As always, let's heal together. Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, Lo.